One day, my girlfriend's sister came up to me and told me about a program called AmeriCorps. In this program, she said, you're not just an intern fetching coffee, you're not just entering in data, you're a part of an organization, a real part who does real work with real people. You have responsibilities, real responsibilities. And this sounded like the perfect program for me to get me back on track. So I applied to AmeriCorps and they placed me at Gaithersburg High School in their ESOL program where I would work with students with great losses in education who had missed large portions of their education or had none whatsoever previously because they are from different countries around the world. Now, when I started that program, from just the very first few days, I felt so much better about myself. I felt like I was doing something. I felt purpose and direction again. I was helping people. I was doing good. And it really changed my life. I applied to graduate school and I got into the master's program at Loyola of Maryland, their clinical psychology program. And in their essay, it actually asked what my experience was with diverse populations. I was living that experience at Gaithersburg High School, and being able to write that in my essay, I'm sure helped me get in. At Gaithersburg High School, I was able to see the change in my students, even if I was just doing a little bit, I could see it was helping them, and that felt so good to me. One student, Jose, when I first met him, he couldn't speak any English. He was not literate in Spanish, and he would barely even speak Spanish to his peers. He had no confidence, and you can tell he was really new to this country. But through my work with him, it really changed. When I talked to him just earlier this week, he could actually hold a conversation in English with me. It was a very simple, hi, how are you, good, but for him, to see that the confidence, to see him actually speaking English was amazing. And to know I played a little role in that, it really felt good. It helped, I felt fulfilled. I felt like I was doing something that really helped change someone's life for the better. But most of this is thanks to the teachers. And specifically with Jose, I worked in Mrs. McGarrity's class. She was such a great teacher. She was so good at working with all these students from very different backgrounds with varying levels of education and language proficiency. And it was inspiring to watch her. I really learned a lot from her. And another teacher, Mr. Powell, who taught math, it was great to watch him. He never spoke any Spanish before he became a teacher. Before he became a teacher working with ESOL, but he had learned some of the language just to help the students there. And he was great at helping students get to an answer or solve a problem without giving them the answer, because that's the only way you can really learn. And one other teacher, Mr. Fleming, he showed me how to be passionate when you're talking, how to really bring energy and talk with power when you're presenting to the class. And I learned a lot watching him. I even had the privilege of teaching that class a couple times, and being able to see him do it first as an example was so helpful to me, and I felt I did a good job because of what I saw him do. These teachers were great at Gaithersburg High School. They work hard and they do such a great job. It's just, unfortunately, not all the classes can have a paraeducator like me. Sometimes these teachers are stuck with 20 or more students, all from countries around the world with speaking different languages, from Spanish to French to Bengali. And it's a lot to put on a teacher without any other assistance in the class. One student, Blanche, who I worked with in her math class first semester, she came up to me one day and told me how I was a great teacher and was so kind and helpful, but how now her math class doesn't have a paraeducator, and she has more trouble in that class now because there's no one else there besides the teacher to help her work through things. I think that, well, I know that Gaithersburg High School needs more paraeducators, and I believe that AmeriCorps members could fulfill those roles. I know Paul's not going to be super happy with me for saying this. He's talked to me so many times about not getting too politicized, but I don't really understand what the controversy is with AmeriCorps about the good it does. It not only allows members like myself to further our education and get great experience, but it allows us to fulfill essential roles in our schools and our communities. That's why we need AmeriCorps. Thank you.